welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to be making the dress as seen in the picture above. It's a Bubu dress, a drawstring. It has a drawstring on the side, so it's like a kimono Bubu dress. It's a very simple dress, very beginners friendly, and it won't take more than 30 minutes to make. So let us get right into the cutting of it. So I have my fabric here, I have my tape rule, I have my scissors, and I have my chalk here. And my fabric is folded in two, so I have two of it. So this one is folded in two, and this is folded in two, because I'm going to be cutting the front and the back together. So I've aligned it on my table, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the shoulder measurement. So for my client, the shoulder is 16. So I'm going to divide that 16 by 2, which gives me 8 inches. I'll mark my 8 inches here. Then also the length of the sleeve, how long I want the sleeve to be. I want it to be 15. Though I'm going to be cutting the sleeve and the shoulder because it's a Bubu dress, but I always like to divide it and separate it like this so I can get the accurate sleeve. So I want my sleeve to be 15, then plus 1 inch for the folding in, so that's 16. So I'm going to mark my 16 like this. I'm going to be marking my 16 like this. So now I have my shoulder and then I have my sleeve length. Then the next thing I'm going to do is for the neckline, I'm going to be drafting out the neckline. So I'm going to be using 3 inches for my neckline. Remember I said it's a kimono Bubu. And then the front, I'm going to be making a V-neck, and I'm going to be using 8 inches. That's for the front. So I'm going to be using 8 inches for the front. But for the back, I'm just going to be using 1 inch for the back. So I'm going to mark 1 inch for the depth and then still use the same 3 inch and then curve it like this. This is for the back and this is for the front. So but I'm going to do the same thing I did at the back in the front, because I'm going to be cutting the front first. After cutting the front, I'll take out the back and then cut the V-neck for the front. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is to take the measurement from our shoulder to our bust is 11, because I don't want this Bubu to be too big. If not, I would have just cut it that way, but I want it to not be too big for her. She doesn't like her Bubu too big. So from shoulder to bust is 11, and then from shoulder to our waist is 17. Then from shoulder to our hip is 9 inches, which gives me 26. And then the length of the Bubu is actually the length of the fabric, which is 45, plus the turning allowance under. So I'm now going to go back to this 16, and I'll come back by 11. That's the shoulder to the bust. I'll come down by 11 here, shoulder to the bust. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I went to the 16, which is the sleeve, and around the sleeve I'm making it 11 inches. So I'm going to be imputing the measurement now. So for the bust, our bust is 44 divided by 4 is 11. And because I don't want to make it, let me mark the 11 first. I don't want it to be too big, so I'm just going to be adding 4 inches. 4 inches is okay. That's plus the sewing allowance. So I'm just adding 4 inches to it. And then I'll go down to, I'm not going to be using the waist measurement. I'll go down to the hip. Our hip is 46, and divided by 4 is 11.5. This is 11.5, and I'm adding 4 inches. That 4 inches for ease and also for the sewing allowance. So remember, I said I'm not going to be doing anything with the waist because it's a bubu. It's supposed to be free. It's not supposed to have that shape, that fitted shape. So you can see what we have here. So from this sleeve, I'm connecting it to my bust, to my hip. And from my hip, I'm just going to be taking it down. So whatever I have on my hip, I'm going to be putting it at my end. So for my hip total, I have 16. So for my arm, I'm also going to put in 16. And then I'll do a straight line. I'm going to be taking a straight line down to meet with my end line. So you can see our bubu is already coming to shape. So when I come to this armhole area, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to just make a little curve. Just a little curve to connect the body and the sleeve. Just a little curve like this. And that is it. We have our bubu ready. So the first thing we're going to do is to cut the neckline. I'm cutting the back neckline first so that I can remove it and then cut the front on its own. So when you're cutting this, you just slope it a little bit, maybe just come like ½ inch and connect it down to this part. So I'm going to be using a free hand to just do that. Just ½ inch slope, you know, because our shoulders are not straight. So just a ½ inch slope like this. So now this is it, we have it. So we're going to cut the remaining parts. It's a very simple outfit to make. Nothing extraordinary about it. It's a bubu. Bubu is one of the simplest outfits that you can make. And this is it. You have your bubu ready to go. So one thing I would do, and I would advise you to do, is your pockets. If you're adding a pocket, this is the time for you to notch where you'll be adding your pockets. So my waist is 17. So I'm just going to come down like 1 inch from my waist and notch, which is 18 inches, and I will notch it. I will just notch the 4 of them together, so it's easier for you to know where your pockets will be attached. It makes it easy for you. So the next thing that we're going to do now is to take out the back of this bubu, and now we have the front. Now, remember that it's a kimono bubu, so it's going to be divided into 2. The front is going to be open. So we're going to cut it this way. Cut out the V-neck first. When you cut out the V-neck, you split it into 2. You split it into 2. So it's splitted into 2 now. As you can see, it's splitted into 2. This is what you have. Sorry, my table is not so big, but this is what you're supposed to have. You have your 2 bubus. Now I I'm going to be putting a pocket, and I already prepared my pocket. This is my pocket. I'm going to be putting it this way. I'm going to be putting my pocket this way. I'm going to be attaching my pocket this way. As you can see, this is my pocket. This is my pocket. And then I also cut out a strip of 3 inches, and it's quite long. I'm going to be putting that around the neck. So I'm going to be attaching this around the neck to give it that kimono neckline that you know of. So I'm going to be doing this, attaching it. I'll take it to the sewing machine, attach it around the neck all the way down. So this is what we have. You can see our kimono is looking like it. We'll attach the pocket, the 2 pockets. I'm having the outside pocket. I won't be having the inner pocket, just the outside pocket, and then I'll be attaching this to the neckline. And I also cut out some strips that I'll be using for the drawstring on the side of it. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.